So this week I can say it was not that I was busy. I was having meltdowns of the Daniel LaRusso proportion. You know how I think it happens in the second and third movie, but he's having this utter meltdown, and Mr. Miyagi's just like, "Ah, da, 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 ah, da." That's what I needed. I just needed someone to do that and make me hammer a nail into a fence. But um I did have support around me, and I'm grateful. And I'm not there yet, but I will be, as the song says. Um yeah. So I did well getting through that and getting through some stuff. I'm getting there. Don't mind my hair if you're watching on YouTube. This is still what the stylist kind of did, and I kind of just fluffed it this morning, kind of fixed it this morning, did my best with the bedhead. I embraced it a little bit. But yeah, we're here. We're back for another episode. This one I'm taking it down a little bit. I'm being a little bit more serious, a little bit more raw. Last couple episodes, been doing a little bit of fun stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but I want to take it to what the heart of what I want to talk about is. And I want to talk about stuff that is applicable to our lives. So this is stuff that I've been thinking about for a while, and I wanted to talk about it, but I couldn't really get it into a full thought to where I could put it out there, but I want to now. Not much else to say. I'm almost finished with Catching Fire. I only have a little bit left to go. To give you context, Katniss just talked to Peeta about leaving. They have the idea from Beetee to put the wire around the tree and walk down the beach. You know where it's going. Yeah, it's like that meme with that old lady that's like, honey, you got a storm a-coming. That's, yeah. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it. I have some videos for YouTube exclusively coming up. And that's about it. So let's get into what I actually want to talk about. So I want to ask you guys, if you're watching or listening, I want you guys to really think about this, okay? I know some of you might get a little upset at what I'm about to say and how I'm about to say it. And let me just say, please listen to the whole thought before you cut out and before you give up. I want to ask you some questions, and I want you guys to answer them to yourself seriously. So, have you ever heard some of these things said to you? I'll start with the most obvious. And I'm trying to keep them in order so that I can make sense of it. Trying to keep it more obvious, but I guess the most obvious one, I wasn't gonna say it in this order, but I'm gonna say it. If God brought you to it, He'll bring you through it. How about, you're in my prayers? Let's just keep that one. You're in my prayers. Have you prayed about it? You're in a waiting pattern. You're in a period of waiting. Wait on the Lord. Now that one, that'll get you, because that sounds biblical, right? It sounds scriptural. There's a scripture in Isaiah about that. But I pledge to you that these are all absolutely wrong. Why? Because the people who said them This is what they're trying to say. I see you have a problem. I hear you have a problem. I see you're upset. I'm getting that. But I want you to leave me alone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I don't want to say it that way, but that's what they're thinking. I want you to leave me alone. I want you to go home and deal with your problem yourself. I want somebody else to fix your problem. I don't want to help you. I got my own problems. And don't we all think that? I mean, don't we all have that thought when somebody's going through something? We're like, I have my own problems to deal with. Yes. But saying those things that everybody says, that we are told we're supposed to say, because it's the right thing to say, air quotes, it means nothing. These things are things that we have been taught from basically birth, that this is what you say if you are confessing yourself as a believer, if you are in a place of, growing up in a Christian home. When you say those words, that's what people think in their head. They see long skirts on the girls with ponytails and no makeup, and they see men who wear straw hats, like they see that. I don't even know, but like, I pledge to you, there should be a whole redefining of the word growing up in a Christian home. The words belief. This is not fair. This is why people don't want to have anything to do with God. And I say this all the time, and I hate saying that, but this is why. Because we have so many things. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just the way it happened. This is the way the enemy has attacked us. And I really think that we need to take stock of these things that we're saying. Another thing that people will love to talk about. They love to talk about this. This is their favorite thing ever. Oh, you're going through it like Job. Job lost everything and he still praised God. Okay, have we read the story of Job? Let's go through it, okay? And debunk all of these things, okay? Job was a man who had a lot of kids. His kids were sinning. They were doing really gross things. Honestly, like if you read it in the Bible, you're like, this could be like Gen Z. Sorry, Gen Z, but it's true. I mean, it could be Gen Y. But I digress. These things were being brought to Job's attention, and he was going and making sacrifices because back then, that's how you did this. He was making sacrifices, praying to God. Put it in a nutshell, he was praying to God to fix it and to overlook that, to trying to cover it up. He was trying to make it right. He's trying to fix it. The devil saw that, and he's like, God, you see, I see what he's doing. And God's like, well, I'm going to stop you right there. You can't kill him. And that put a wall up, but it didn't stop what was coming for him, because he tried to make it, to fix it, to make it work, to force it. That is what happened. It has nothing to do with, it's all part of God's plan, air quotes. That's another one. Let's debunk these things. These things are not true. If something bad happens, there are a few reasons. Let's go through them. The first, and probably foremostly, life is tough and decisions have consequences and obviously outcome. Maybe it wasn't the best decision. Maybe somebody made a poor decision on their part to hurt you. whether they knew it or not. And also not helping, the devil hates us. So why are we gonna, that's why it says, I believe it says something like, don't be surprised when you experience trials. That's what that means. It doesn't mean, that means it should be obvious to you when something's going wrong. Something's up. What are we doing here? That's when you stop and you take stock. What did they tell you? Well, I mean, maybe not young you, older you. People my age and older. What did they tell us when we were growing up? If something happens and you don't see your parents, what did they say? Stop where you are. Don't move. Look at where you are. Either look for a police officer or look and see if you can see your parent coming, because someone will find you. Okay, so let's put that in this spiritual kind of perspective. You're going through something. Stop. Look at where you are. And be like, okay, God, help me. And I haven't known a time when I've gone through that it hasn't been like, oh wait, I can do this. There's really not been a time when that hasn't happened. When things haven't been like, I know you're upset now, but let's make a decision. Let's think about this. Let's think about this. Okay, we're going to do this. And it just works. That's when you know. That's the way to fully grasp the fact that now you're on the right path. It doesn't have to be that you always make the right decisions. It doesn't have to be that you always pray every day, and sometimes you're going to miss it. But when you do that, you're back on track and you can just keep going. That's life. And we don't want to help people with that. So we say all these things that mean literally nothing, that we just were told to say over and over again. And you get some people who just, oh, I just felt so much better. I just needed to get to church, and I just needed to get to this person, and and it was just so much better. But you're still struggling. But you're still, saying the struggle is real. And, and here's the thing. I was going to do it myself. I was going to start with a joke and say, welcome to the struggle bus. No, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. No. You know what? I made the joke that I made because it was funny. Because it was me. I watch those movies and I watch him and I'm like, that's me. I'll be like, and it's just like, are you done? And it's like, you know what? You're right. And it's like, I realized how many times we make mountains out of molehills, of course, but in the midst of that, I realized that we also miss opportunities to help people. There's a movie, and as of right now, I think it's available to stream on Tubi. I could be wrong. If not, I encourage you to get it on Amazon. It's a really good movie. It actually is a really good movie. A lot of very serious elements to it, but one of the ones is something that is the main, part of the story is, there is a young kid who befriends his neighbor kid. They live a few houses down. They both like basketball. they're both the same age. They're in like middle school, I think, at this point, and they become friends. And they're walking down the road, and there's a car coming. The one kid trips and starts to fall in front of the car. The other kid pushes him out of the way, but falls himself and gets hit by the car and is hurt. So where he walks with a limp. But from that point on, they just kind of stayed together. And when high school happened, the kid who was saved out of the danger became popular. He started playing basketball on the basketball team. The kid who was injured is pushed to the wayside, and he's not allowed to be friends with him if he wants to be friends with the popular people, basically, you know. And this kid who was injured is hurt. He's upset. And he finds himself going to the local church. They had a youth group that night, and he starts speaking with the youth pastor. Then the youth pastor is the typical youth pastor, you know, hey, how are you? How old are you? What school do you go to? You know, like the spiel. Only he is, right before the kid who is injured can answer, he is pulled away by another person and says, oh, wait 1 second, turns around, walks away from this kid, and nobody bothers at all anymore. And I don't want to give too much away. I want you guys to watch the movie, but that is a significant impact in the plot and the story. And I can tell you that's a very true thing that happens. That is something that honestly happens all the time. There's a story, I don't know, it could be a rumor, but it's a story that Marilyn Manson had gone to church when he was young, having lived a really bad life, I guess, growing up, and was asking for help, and nobody wanted to hear him, and nobody paid attention to him, so he left. And he gave up. And am I saying that what he does could have been changed? I don't know. I don't have that answer. But what I do know is that when you're hurting and when you need help and you go try to speak with the people who are supposed to be helping, you know, Mr. Rogers taught us, look for the people who are helping. And we think, oh, this person is Christian. Oh, this person believes the Bible. They're going to help me. And when they don't, that's disappointing. That's discouraging. That makes you feel alone in the world. And when you feel alone in the world, you really don't have hope. And if you don't have the Lord to hang on to, you're done. And I don't want to put it that way, but that's basically it. And we do that when we don't help. We do that when we sit there and go, I have my own problems to deal with. Just do this. Just go pray. Just go read the Bible. It's all in there. That doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. My mom told me a story about right before she got saved, how she was told, you know, look at the Bible. You know, just look in the Bible. She opened the Bible and she said, honestly, I don't even remember what scripture I read. And I was like, I don't understand this, and set the book down. And didn't pick it up again until I got saved. And then I understood it. You're not going to get it when you're lost. You need someone to help you. If you don't know the directions to get to a place, you can't just go there. You need to know the directions. And if you don't know the directions, you're not going to get there. You're going to get lost. You're not going to know how to get back to your starting point. You're not going to know any of it. So what are we doing? Just sitting there going, just read the Bible, just pray. I'll pray for you. How many times have we seen a post on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, heard someone talking and said, "Oh, I'm praying. I'm praying." Did you pray? Probably not. I went through a phase where I would scroll through my Facebook and see people, "Hey, pray for me, blah, 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 blah." And I would get right in there, "I'm praying, I'm praying." And I didn't pray. And I was like, "No, that's my prayer. I'm praying." What are you praying? And that's the point. We don't do any of it. We just say it to say it. We say it because it's what you're supposed to say. We say it because that's the knee-jerk reaction. And many of us don't even mean it in a harmful way, but that's how it comes out, because that's the heart behind it. Whether we have it or not, that's what it means. And I just think we need to let these things go. We need to stop doing these things. We need to focus more on helping people to grow, helping people to deal with these issues instead of just leaving them to suffer in them. I'm not saying, we're going to always help everybody. We're always going to have it right. I get that. Not everybody wants to be helped. But if you feel, and this is where it all comes back to, we need to be praying that God will lead us and show us who we need to talk to. Because it doesn't go away. You just can't let go of this one situation, and it'll always be up in front of you. And there will be a situation where it's very candid. It's going to feel natural. It's not going to feel forced. It's not going to feel like I have to say this. It'll be like, okay, what do I say? Okay, this person said this, so I'm going to say this. And a lot of times it'll just come out of you. If you continue to do that, if you continue to pray and ask God to lead you, and you continue to let Him show you those things will come up for you, and they'll come back in recall, and you'll be able to say them, even if you don't realize that you have that, you do. So, I do want to close out. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I think we need to be more aware of what the Lord is saying rather than what we're supposed to be saying and what we're supposed to be doing. They like to ask, how many souls have you saved? Well, are you talking actually genuinely helping someone understand salvation, or asking me how many people I've made say words after me? Because if you make someone say words after you, that means nothing. But if you actually break down salvation for someone and they go and they do it, and in that moment they receive it, then you just saved a soul. So we need to rethink these things. We need to, we talk about, things that are outdated, or that are, they don't track, or things like that they like to say now. What doesn't track is going by the script. What doesn't track is a Bible track on, instead of a tip, or, saying some scripture to someone who has no idea what that means, or no desire to care, or to look into it. You don't beat someone over the head with it. You show them slowly and gently when you're led. That's how it works. So I want to thank you guys. I hope I gave you guys something to think about. I hope you still love me. I love you guys. Please follow this podcast. Subscribe to this channel if you're interested. Please share with others. Please comment if you feel the same. If you have something that you want to talk about, go ahead, comment below. If you have a topic you'd like me to go over, please put it below. If you have any questions, any concerns, please comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and please be following both the podcast and subscribing to the YouTube channel. I do have a couple of YouTube exclusives going up. That means you will not hear them on the podcast. You will see them on YouTube. It is a different setup. It is a different vibe. And this is more just us sitting and talking. Other one is going to have elements that you need to see. So we're going to do it that way. These sit down and talk podcast videos will have a different thumbnail so that you know which ones are what. And with the preface, let's talk about, just so you know. And then the YouTube exclusive will have just the regular title with a different thumbnail every time. So just to give you guys some more context, if you're new, I know I had a couple of new subscribers. I had some views going on. Thank you so much. Please keep supporting. Please keep watching and listening. This is something that is very near and dear to my heart, and I want to keep it going. So I hope you will tune in next time, and have a good week and be safe. Bye.